Hey everyone, welcome to Heart Centered Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. And I have with me I can't talk today, my wonderful co-host, David from Tarot by the Bay.
Hey everyone, while she's guiding you, I'll be the one splashing water on her while her back is turned, and then looking up. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, what happened? So welcome.
Damn birds are spinning on her.
Welcome to Taco Tuesdays, where we take a look at the news and who's in the news and why they're making the news and all that good stuff. Kind of, hopefully you'll get a little bit of an education, but hopefully, we can find things to laugh about, because God knows if we don't laugh, we're going to go insane.
Exactly.
Hey, Gerald, I just finished a show with Gerald. And it was fun. It was lovely. Absolutely.
Is that Tarot Stash?
That is Tarot Stash.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah, that is Tarot Stash. Yeah. Thank you, Roxy. And hello, Marby. Hey, Debbie. Nice to see you again. Extreme Brands. Hello, Margot B. And we are simulcasting. Okay, to both channels. So although we can see all your chat, those of you that are in my chat will only see what's happening there. Those of you that are in David's chat will only see what's happening there. But I encourage you to, visit the other channel. Make sure you give a like, share, subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll pick things up because, folks, I'm 80 away from 2,000.
No kidding.
80 away. Yeah,
awesome.
I know. I think it's doable, and I think it's doable by the end of the week. So, everybody, make sure you do that. Okay, that's your goal. That's your assignment. Should you decide to accept it.
Exactly. A doable thing.
Absolutely. So, hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're having a good Tuesday and all that. Hope you've been following some of the news. I mean, you can't help but follow some of the news. So, hey, Connie B. Alrighty. So, what's been happening with you? You've been putting out a lot of videos. Great ones, too.
Thank you. I've just been cranking out my 2 a day, and then last night, Judge Chutkan ruled on Donald Trump and set a court date for him. So do a bonus reading on that one because current event, I could throw that one in there. In fact,
absolutely.
Today's readings, I'll throw up on my community page. What do you want me to read on? And I typically do that when I've just run out of topics, and then I'll get 80 responses with things, which is great because now I can pick and choose. And some folks want to know about hurricanes in Florida.
Yes.
And others, earthquakes in California. So today's reading was themed on natural disasters in Florida and in California. And I don't do too many of those. So it's kind of all right, let's see how we can figure out how to read the cards for natural disasters, because it's not as straightforward for whatever reason as politics.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I think that it was very wonderful that Ron DeSantis said to people earlier today, you got to get out. Do it. And I'm sure that soon after he said that, he was on the next plane out. He ain't sticking around, y'all. I'm sorry. He's gone. Okay. Yeah.
Hanging around with Ted Cruz.
Yeah. He's going to be dealing with it from somewhere far away because, you can't stand in the middle of a hurricane, not something that is going to be that destructive. He's leading by example.
That would be really bad form if he does that, but we'll see.
Absolutely. Hey, you want to read on it?
Sure.
Is he going to read? Yeah, or is he going to read? Is he going to leave?
Or is he going to stay? Will Mark Meadows stay in Florida during this upcoming hurricane. Entertainment purposes only. Strength card. Yeah, strength card. It wasn't reversed. My deck was upside down. Okay, so we have to project strength here. We have to show people that we're projecting strength. And it's also interesting. There's some compassion here with this woman giving this lion horse pill. And I can't decide if Ron DeSantis is trying to be the woman showing compassion or if compassion is being forced down his throat. And then you got the Ten of Swords, the ending of things. I think he's going to stick. I do think he's going to stick around. Let's see. He's contemplating.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's thinking about leaving, but he's concerned that if he does that, he'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's reasonable. In the past, Knight of Swords, this is Ron, the guy who's going to, the hard-writing, right-wing conservative who's going to tell you what to do and slay the woke crowd and just kind of this toxic masculinity type thing.
Yep.
Current situation is the Chariot. I'm going to have this be the hurricane. This hurricane's coming in. It's not going to stop. It's going to blast right on through Florida. And there's going to be like, I don't say charity work, but this is like aid coming in. He's got to show that strength. He's already talked. I'm assuming he's already talked with Biden because Biden's already declared it a disaster. He's already freed up funds. FEMA's going to be there to help people out, and I think it would look really bad if FEMA's there and he's not. The lesson to be learned is if you're going to be the King of Pentacles, you got to be the King of Pentacles. You've got to be there for those people, so that basically when FEMA's coming through with aid, you can already say how much aid you've got. Oh, hell, he still has his wife's hurricane fund from the last hurricane.
Yes.
This money hasn't been dispensed, so there's also money to be made here.
Absolutely.
Outcome being left out in the cold. Between storm surges and hurricane damage, there's going to be people left out, and FEMA will be there to help them. And he better be there to help them too, because if he's not, they're not going to vote for him again. Now, mind you, he can't run for re-election this next election cycle. You're only allowed to run 2 terms in a row, and he's already in the second term. So that might be more yet another political landmine he steps on if he doesn't handle this well. His presidential campaign is in shambles, and if he messes this one up, he's done. He's just done and dusted. And he won't. Basically, what will happen is his fundraising has been a problem. And most of his fundraising has been through very wealthy donors who've maxed out what they can give to him for this campaign. So now he has to figure out new donation sources, which is grassroots stuff. And if he leaves people out in the cold, he's not going to get their money.
No.
And that's going to kill his campaign.
Yep.
That's my thought on that.
So, yeah, I start off with the 5 of Swords. That, yeah, absolutely. He's going to have to be in there. He's going to have to be fighting for whatever happens. Then I got the Hierophant, which is your government, your institutions, and everything else, right? So he kind of has to be there, but man, oh man, he's going to do his level best to kind of keep himself out of any danger whatsoever, because with the 6 of Coins, it comes down to the money, right? He went to Biden and hat in hand, and politics makes strange bedfellows, and all the things I said about you. Come on, it's until he gets his money, and then it's going to be lock him up and whatever, right? So here's the 8 of Coins. Looking for the money, looking for the handout in one, and it always amazes me that the Republicans are the ones that don't want anyone, they don't want any money given to anyone. Look after yourself. But when there's a natural disaster or something, they're the first ones in line with their hat out saying, me, me, me. Yeah, I think ultimately, whatever he does, he's doing for the money. This is, yeah, the nine of coins. And I really get a sense this is not going to work out well for him. I got the 7 of wands at the bottom of the deck. Like, if there's a way to screw this up, he will.
That'll be interesting to see how that comes out.
And yeah, I think he's going to try to be. He's going to be telling the people that, yeah, it was he went to Biden, and Biden only gave him so much money, and there's not a lot he can do with it. In the meantime, he just might be taking a portion of that money and putting it into his campaign.
Right.
And entertainment purposes only, but that's, as always, putting the cards back, that's what popped into my head, is that's, it's kind of like one for you, one for me.
Exactly. Skimming a little off the top there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, yeah, if you're in Florida, please, if you be safe, just do whatever they tell you. If they tell you to evacuate, don't be that person. Just evacuate. Okay. You're not stronger than a storm surge. Trust me. Okie dokie. All right. Let me go back and see. I hope I didn't miss any questions. If I did, I'm sure you guys are going to tell me. Alrighty. So the other thing that I thought that we could take a look at was, I was reading just the other day, and this is just to kind of get away from Trump for a minute. Was reading the other day from some Russian bloggers. I think it's Focus online. They have been complaining against their own military hierarchy, saying that they are being isolated and that they are being basically abandoned, left to their own devices. There isn't anything coming in. There was one brigade of here we go. Russian soldiers isolated on an island in the Dnipro River is being massively shelled by Ukrainian artillery. The result is enormous losses. And Focus Online reports that in just 2 days, between 200 and 300 soldiers have either fallen or been captured. The affected units' call for help, especially to Russian artillery support, have so far gone unheard. In addition, one of the brigadier commanders had asked for approval to withdraw, and the military said no.
Nope.
Yeah, so there's a lot. It's like they're being left out there to, fend for yourself, right?
Yeah.
You either make it out of this or you're going to die there. It's your choice, as if they had a choice. So I thought we might take a look and see if is the Russian military abandoning its soldiers? Hello, Sharon Sipe, and hello, Plucky Heroine. Hello, Rossi. I hope I didn't miss anyone.
It's funny. Putin is basically invoking the czars, as well as the World War II stratagem of quantity is its own quality. Just like you could just throw people into the meat grinder and just throw bodies at it, and that will solve the problem. And that doesn't work. The war has changed.
Yes.
And that strategy doesn't work particularly well. And the hard part for the Russian soldiers is they don't know why they're there. They've been told. At first, they weren't told why they were going there. Then they were told it was just going to be a military exercise. Then they were told that they were getting rid of Nazis, and then and then it keeps changing. The story always changes, so they have no idea why they're there. A lot of conscripts are in there, and these are not professional soldiers. These are like basically draftees, for lack of a better description, and they don't want to be there. They don't want to die, and they don't know why they're there. So morale is shit for Russian soldiers. And now you're on an island getting just pummeled with artillery fire, and I'm sure there's if there's more than 3 in a group, they're going to get a cluster bomb thrown their way. So, what do? Your choices are die or surrender, pretty much, are your 2 most reasonable choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Has Russia abandoned
Hamburger
soldiers?
Hill in Vietnam, says Rose Blue. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a generational thing going on here. The generational values. You've got elderly people who would have been around for the end of World War II and heard stories from their parents or their grandparents about the bravery of soldiers. And then you've got, on the other extreme, you've got young people who actually have to go in there and live it. Now, it was one thing, Hitler was invading Russia, so Russians knew what they were fighting for in World War II. They aren't fighting for that same thing now. So there's this disconnect where elderly people are thinking these young people should be grateful to defend Mother Russia, but they're not taking into account that this is Russia the aggressor, not Russia the defender. And there's just a disconnect. Not to mention older people tend to listen to state TV and the propaganda as opposed to young people who go on the internet and get Western information so they can counteract it. And that's what this Page of Pentacles is showing up as. In my U.S. readings, Page of Pentacles is now my symbol for election interference, but it's also young people getting information to combat that propaganda. So you've got propaganda versus non-propaganda. Fake news versus non-fake news. Yeah. In the past is the Fool. This was a foolish war to do it. Russia was warned not to do it. They would be isolated if they did it. They did it. They got isolated. Their economy is a mess, although the worst of it hasn't happened yet because Russia keeps cooking the books. I don't know how you do that, but allegedly they're doing that. But tough times in Russia because of Putin's foolish actions. Current situation is the Magician. Have they abandoned their soldiers? They're trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Yeah. And I don't know what they think they're going to do it. So it's really just an illusion of, just hold out a little bit longer and, maybe something, maybe the Ukrainian army will all commit suicide or something. Who knows what they think is going to happen? Yeah. But it's not strategy. In some ways, the Magician is just, I know, we'll throw more bodies at it because that's what we need to fix it. The soldiers are getting aware of it, though. They understand as they're coming in, they're being thrown to the meat grinder, and morale is low, and it's going to start, when morale gets low like that, and people are being thrown in the meat grinder, this is when insurrections start happening. And certainly there have been reports of Russian soldiers refusing orders, refusing to go and do things that they're told to do. The Wagner group was livid because Russian soldiers wouldn't support them. And so they had to use the Wagner group as standard foot soldiers, and they were getting hammered. Now Wagner's not there, and these soldiers basically, they're fighting against it. Now they do have, in the traditional sense, like a commissar that's trying to execute people that don't obey orders. But at the same time, there's more soldiers than there are commissars, and I don't think these soldiers would have a problem removing said commissar. No. Lesson to be learned. This is that authoritarian figure like Putin and such. He hasn't adjusted his mindset. He's still in the old way of doing things. I'm the czar. I'm the emperor. You do what I tell you to, or else. Yeah. Type of mindset. Outcome. Oh, that's interesting. The Empress. The outcome is
they refer to Russia as Mother Russia. And Mother Russia is a land of some great wealth and resources, but right now those wealth and resources are being abused. They're not being cared for. The people are not being cared for. I think, have they abandoned them? They pretty much have abandoned them, and they've lost sight of the Empress. And eventually, what will happen is that Putin's going to get toppled, and the Empress is going to return. There's going to be a focus on people underneath there. The problem why Putin is doing this is he's continuing to not get the information he needs that gives him an honest assessment of what's going on in the battlefield. So when this brigadier general wants to pull his guys off of that island, Putin's saying don't let him, because Putin's being told that they're in a strong position and the Ukrainians can't get past him and whatever, but he's not getting the news that he's lost several hundred men there, and the only hope is that he's going to lose several hundred more men. And exactly. For what? For no good reason.
Yeah, exactly. Just to appease Putin.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Christina and Starling. Hello, MK. And Sharon Type. Hello, Tammy Amaral. Welcome. Steve Myers has a question. Yeah, that I have starred. Peace, Mama. Yes, you did. You caught us live. And alrighty. Yeah. Christina was there on Sunday when Fernie told me who I was in a past life. It was it was something that couldn't have been scripted. It was just fantastic. So anyway, alrighty. What I started off with the Six of Wands. This is trying to find a way to they're trying to find a way to draw attention to themselves, right? Look at me. Here I am. I'm stuck. Whatever. He's really left them out to dry. And then I got the Wheel of Fortune. This is not going to bode well for him. And yes, he really is trying to bring back the old Russia.
Yeah.
And he's the only one. He's the only one that wants the old Russia back. Why? Just so he can say he did it. But yeah, so I mean, initially it wasn't too bad. He was able to fund it. He had the money. He could kind of take away from some of the resources and whatnot. But you know what? He's the hangman. He's not really. There is another perspective, and he's just refusing to look at it. And I think you're absolutely right in that the information that is coming to him, people have seen what happens to other people when they disagree with Putin. So while they would like to say, yeah, exactly. Yeah, here I go, falling out that basement window again. He's not willing to listen, and no one has the to say, okay, here it is, because not that it's going to do any good, right? It's not like there's if you were to tell him the truth, he would say, oh, didn't think of that, you're right, let's try something else. So there's a lot of emotion and a lot of BS going around with the Knight of Cups, right? That he's being told what he wants to hear, and everything is fantastic. Everyone is happy. They are celebrating your success in the street. No. He's running out of money. People can see, and so can his soldiers. They can see what's going on, and that they are that they're just fodder. They're not human beings. They don't mean anything to him. He doesn't have anything for any of them. And it's funny, but I end with the 7 of coins. And the first thing that I was drawn to was, if you look at the image, that's a very kind of, Slavic looking girl there with her, there's the fruit that's there. And it's like she's harvesting the good things around it. So I think that, yeah, people are seeing what's going on. That I don't think that the men are going to stand behind him much longer. And I think that they learned from Prigozhin not to attack straight on, but they are going to come at him from the side. And I think that they are going to go. They want things the way that they were, and the way that they were sort of, before, when there may not have been a whole lot, but there was at least something for everyone, right? So yeah, absolutely. He's doing it to himself. He really truly is. Yeah. Hello, Bernice, Sunflower Down Under. Hello, welcome. Okay, wonderful. All right, so you'll probably do your cards on this while I'm shuffling. But so on the judge in Trump's many cases, the one involving Jack Smith. Mm-hmm. Those of you that are keeping score, that's the 4th indictment. Anyway, she has set a trial date of March the 4th. And Trump's lawyer said, oh, we can't possibly provide, the adequate content and good advice, after the millions and millions of pages of things that we have to go through. Maybe that's a little hasty and we need more time. And she said, nope, he's going to have to find time. Trial starts on March the 4th and he better be here. So I think what they were trying to do, what his lawyers are trying to do, is set the groundwork for a possible appeal when he is found guilty. Yep. And that is, he did not receive adequate counsel. We could not adequately represent him. So he was denied that constitutional right to have representation because we couldn't provide it. So is that argument going to go anywhere? Okay. Oh, Mary Markel, hello, welcome. And yeah, DeSantis has been in the news a few times today. I bet he has.
Let's see. How will they be able to successfully appeal a conviction due to preparation time? They're going to try and make the case that there was just so much going on they couldn't possibly get to all that information, but at the same time, there's a celebration of it's the victory for the prosecution, and they're basically saying it was coming out reversed here, but basically we lost because we didn't have enough time to prep. So the cards are dialed in to the argument, and in the past they're going to say there was too much information. There's too much. We just we tried to digest as much of it as we could, but there was just too much. We couldn't get to all of it in time. The current situation, though, it's the argument's going to be put back to them, though, but you had just the one person. It was the one star witness. It wasn't a conspiracy. You didn't have to worry about co-defendants. Your client is purported to be a billionaire. You guys could have hired another 50 legal analysts to help read through all the documents and get through all that. It's not a lack of resources that was the problem, and that's going to be the hardest thing for him to overcome, or the argument to overcome, is you had the resources with which to do it. If you chose not to spend the money or the resources to do that, that's the consequences. You made a choice, and and the court gave you time. The court gave you the evidence and discovery like they're supposed to. The court worked with you on things like that. But ultimately, this is a choice that you made. Mm-hmm. And this, kind of the, with the Four of Wands, it's the wedding card. It's the welcoming folks to a party. And on the low energy, it's don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. But yes, again, when you have a bunch of wands all standing up like that, I see prison. So here they are going into a prison cell. Like, come on, your cell's waiting for you. We're waiting for you to come in, and it's going to be a nightmare. They're going to try and appeal, and it's not going to work because the prosecution and the judge played this one straight. They followed the laws, and there was a rationale for it. It wasn't done to punish Trump. It was done to have an expedient trial so that people voting in the primaries could vote for the candidate. If Trump was exonerated, he would have been totally exonerated, and folks could have voted with him with a good conscience. Yep. If he wants to delay it, you're actually subverting democracy at that point, because now people don't know who they're voting for.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? The judge warned him about, trying to poison the jury pool and all that. Don't be putting your shit out there, because, it just means that you get to go to court quicker than what you might like. And what did he do? He got on Truth Social, and it's a Trump-hating judge, and the this and the that. That's not a way to impress the judge and get her on your side, or at least you don't get her to look at her favorably. So I start with this, with the Four of Cups. This is kind of, not focusing on what's going on, but just kind of being laser focused on one thing, so much so that you can't see what's going on around you, or you don't want to see what's going on around you. Following that, I have doubt. It's like, okay, if you're wondering what's going to bring you down, that's what it is. It's your inability to see and to hear what's going on around you. It's your devotion to the one line, the one thing that I'm just going to keep repeating over and over and over again. That's what's going to bring you down. I then have the Queen of Pentacles, the Moon, followed by the Queen of Wands. So, this is you. You want to be a little delusional. You want to think that you're controlling it. You're not. It's the ladies who are in charge on this one. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's Bonnie Willis, and that's the judge. And it's a different tune. We're not asking you to come to the party. We're telling you that you will be there. Right? And you will come in with all your illusion and delusion. You can bring that with you. We've got answers for, what we have for you. So, he is in a position where he now has to make a decision, right? Do you want to stick to your guns? Or do you want to listen to what some of these lawyers are saying? I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's determined that his way is the right way, and he's just going to go down fighting while he's selling T-shirts with his picture, his mugshot on it, saying "Never surrender."
And honestly, for him, that's exactly what he should do, because if he follows his lawyer's advice, he might get a better deal, but then he'll blame his lawyers for not getting him off. So he'll throw him under the bus. At least if he's going down doing it his way, he can try to blame other people for it. But ultimately, it's like, you made your own choices. At least Trump will never see he made his own choices. But other people that need to see that will see that.
Exactly.
And that's as important, if not more important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hello, Gwynnie. Welcome. So I want to, with the next thing in mind is what Trump is doing important enough that the trial needs to be televised?
Which are we talking, January 6th, or are we talking the Georgia election interference?
January 6th.
And there's so many trials to choose from, but yeah, January 6th.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to think, oh, wait, which one? Yeah.
Or is the Alvin Bragg Stormy Daniels trial, or is it the E. Jean Carroll trial, or is it the, what's the other one he's got going on? Oh, the Mar-a-Lago documents case. So on and so forth. Okay, yeah, January 6th.
Family thrifting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kevin says, so funny that Trump is selling merchandise with "Never Surrender" using a picture from the day that he surrendered. Yeah.
Irony is lost on these people.
Totally.
Okay, Queen of Pentacles. Will the January 6th trial be televised? I think as a practical matter of value, yes. And it's one of those things where to me, I've always felt that it should be televised simply because it was an insurrection against our government and the peaceful transfer of power. We've never seen that before. We all, I'll put air quotes around it, we all saw the insurrection live on TV. You should then see the trial live on TV, if for no other reason, because Trump has consistently said it's a witch hunt. So yes, more for the MAGA crowd than anybody else, they need to see this on TV so that they can see the evidence as it's lined out, and they can see these Trump and his witnesses have to be under oath, because you don't have to tell the truth on an interview with Fox News. But perjury is a thing. Now, Trump will perjure himself. He won't even get past his middle name before he's perjured himself. But his witnesses may not want to perjure themselves. Crossing the Queen of Pentacles is the King of Cups. So the practical nature, the value of televising it is there. Plus, it's also the showing Trump and his witnesses under oath, and watching the emotions, watching the professionalism of prosecutorial witnesses presenting their story. And the thing is that these are all going to be Republicans testifying against Trump. It's not going to be Democrats. It's going to be Republicans. And I hope the prosecutors ask, the second question they ask is, could you state your name to the court? My name is William Barr. Are you a registered Republican? Yes, I am. And then go on from there, so that the jury and the folks at home never hear that anybody there is a registered Democrat. Yes. In the past, here's your riots at the Capitol, the victory of the MAGA party for almost having an insurrection or a near insurrection on there, and the turmoil that it led to. The situation with this televising the elections is that it brings the insurrection full circle. You got to see it, the opening salvo on TV. Now you need to see it closed. Not only that, the rest of the world needs to see that the leading democracy in the world, as we would like to tout it, United States, has a fair court system that gives, the poorest person and the wealthiest person a fair shake in their ability to present their case. The world needs to see this trial as much as Americans do. Temperance. this is going to be the thing that starts to detox certain groups of people. Folks that have been Trump supporters, but don't pay attention to the news, aren't really up on what's going on, and they watch this, and then they see, oh crap, the news I have been getting is Fox News, and it was not accurate. This is what the accurate story is, and all of a sudden they start to wake up to how much they were used and abused on this one. And by seeing that, they start maybe reconciling with members of their family who quite aren't as extreme as they are. They might start coming back towards the center a little bit and moving away from extremism. And the outcome will be the Knight of Swords. There's going to be, obviously the true MAGA faithful they're going to see this trial as a witch hunt. They're not going to believe it. Yeah. But those who aren't, they're going to see how they were duped. And some are going to be really, really angry about this. They're going to be angry at Fox. They're going to be angry at their senators or congressmen who did not represent the truth. And there's going to be a backlash going towards that. Underneath it all is the Ace of Wands. It's a really strong idea to televise this. This is just something, this is the cleansing of the wound that is really painful to watch, but you have to see it so that you can understand what happened so you don't make the same mistake a second time to you.
Exactly what he said. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. This has to be done. It has to be televised because, yes, everyone needs to see the people involved and that there's a big difference between what they say when there's the threat of going to jail because you lied versus what you say when the camera is on. And that those are two distinct things, and they are different, very different from each other. So I started off with the Three of Swords. This is, it's a heartache. It's a stain on America. If nothing happens and people don't actually see these people having to swear to tell the truth, answering the questions or refusing to answer the question, which, wow, you don't have to worry when you tell the truth. The truth
exactly
never changes, right? So, and this is a way for, you're absolutely right, for people to know that, all right, who started this rumor or who did this? Oh, yes, it was John Smith, the Republican. And then who did this? Oh, yes, Joe Smith, the Republican. So they need to see exactly who was involved. So after, the challenge for the Three of Swords is the Death card. I think that if this isn't televised, the country can't go forward. No. There will not be any an end to this story, and people can twist it any way that they want and so on. So it has to be. That's just it. It has to be. There is no other choice but to have it televised. And put Donald Trump, put the emperor right in the center of it, because he's the guy this, started with him. And all right, please state your name for the court, Mr. Donald Trump, and tell us what you have to say. And they're trying to find different ideas, different ways that they could maneuver out of it, and they're not good ideas. They're kind of like stopgap things. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. ultimately what they'll have to do is, yeah, tell the truth. The Queen of Swords, she's going to continue. And again, the Queen of Swords is, I don't want to hear the BS. I don't want to hear the excuses.
Yep.
Just the facts, ma'am. Stick to the facts.
Yeah,
right?
think of the Queen of Swords as being the cross examinations, which would be absolutely amazing if Trump's testifying.
Oh, please. Yeah, absolutely. So, no, they are. I think that the people who are making that decision about whether or not it should be televised, I think that, yeah, they're going to have to find some strength. They're going to have to realize that this is bigger than just one man. And it is because of just one man that this whole situation happened, that this whole, America came within seconds and inches of not being a democracy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it absolutely has to be, and it's going to help people decide kind of what side of the fence that they're on, and it's going to be very difficult for those that are, kind of refusing to see the truth. It is going to be quite a burden on them. So ultimately, they're going to have to come online. They're going to have to recognize that there are things that just, yeah, things you can't do. And yeah, the defendant, America doesn't have a king, and the defendant isn't a king, or the president isn't a king, or whatever. Yeah. There we go. Alrighty. Okay. So I think, you know what, I did have a couple other questions, but let's just, we do have some questions in the chat, so I want to make sure that we can get to those as well. So, you okay with taking questions? Excellent. Sure. Okay. So, already Dream Girl says, please read on San Francisco and the other declining cities. Will we ever see the end of homelessness, drug play? Okay.
I think Sterling just read on that one this last weekend. I was listening to his podcast driving into work this morning.
Mm-hmm.
He said, give it 10 years. Let's see. Will there be future San Francisco and other declining cities? Will we ever see that? Will there be an end of homelessness and drugs, needles on the streets in San Francisco? Say in the next 20 years or sooner? Less than a generation.
Working on it. I think in 20 years, it may not be completely knocked out, but there will have been a lot of progress made in addressing those issues. And to me, when the person's got the bandage on the head, it's dealing with mental health. It's doing the work, especially on the mental health side of things. Once upon a time,
California had mental health institutes, and people that were basically crazy were put into mental health institutes. And somewhere, I believe, in the late 60s or early 70s, somebody suggested we get rid of the mental health hospitals. And the Democrats wanted that because they felt like it was a violation of the inhabitants' rights to be forced to go in there. And the Republicans wanted it because they didn't want to spend money on it. So what ended up happening was they closed them and dumped these people in the streets, and here we go now.
There's more homeless on the streets, but at the same time, there's also more people in the area. So even if the percentages haven't changed, you just have more people, and they get crazy and violent. As you deal with the homeless one, the drugs will fall into place, but homelessness will be the harder one to kick. Current situation is the Nine of Cups. there are people with ideas, but it's getting the public behind them to get these things initiated. I know there's small grassroots groups out there that are working with the homeless and such, but this is my own ignorance. I don't know what they're doing, and I can't envision how they fix it. But there are people that have plans in place. They just haven't been able to put them into place. But the people that have ideas, they're going to come forward. And again, I think this is going to be more and more as two things happen. Democrats continue to be in power, and as revenues increase, there's going to be a push towards compassion towards people, and there's going to be a push for ending homelessness and ending drug use. It's going to take a while. It's a step-by-step process. It didn't happen overnight. It's not going to get fixed overnight, because people with mental health issues, this is a lifelong process. And some of it's trying to get to the youth before they get to the point where they have mental health issues. Yeah. And then you can at least turn off the spigot of new cases coming in, and then you just deal with the ones that you have left. The overarching energy, they're assessing the problem. They're looking at assessing the problem. I do wonder if AI somehow will be involved in this, that they can use AI as predictors of things, or I don't. Again, I lack the vision or the ingenuity to see how you would make that connection. But there are people much smarter than me that are going to evaluate that, and AI may be a tool that's used in addressing this problem, which is why we haven't been able to do anything with it, because it takes vast amount of data to identify it, but AI can crunch through it really quickly, and maybe that will help find hot spots where homelessness or drug use might happen, and then folks can go in there. The lesson to be learned is the Knight of Pentacles. It's the compassion for people. I want you to think about this for a second. Think about, we're talking about student loan debt forgiveness. There are a lot of sociology majors out there. You could have them, if they go, if they do public service for the cities or the counties or the state, as part of their service there, whether it's 2 years or 4 years or something like that, forgive the loans over, if you do it for 4 years, they forgive 25% a year for the 4 years that you're on there. And it makes up for the fact that they're not paid a shit ton of money, because they're getting rid of their debt. And then at that point, they can continue doing the work because they love doing it, or if they don't love doing it, well, at least their college loans are paid off and they can do something else. Just getting that social service. And if we can get that value out on the streets, we'll be able to take care of the homeless. We'll be able to take care of those that have turned to drugs and something along those lines, and the mental health issues, and start fixing it. But I think part of it is, at least with the mental health issue, is finding a way to get the folks with the mental health issues, or homeless women and kids, getting shelters built up so homeless women and kids, or even homeless fathers and kids, homeless parents and kids, to get them shelter so that they don't perpetuate it. For young people that might fall between the cracks, to get those safety nets in place so that you slow down the amount of people being dumped onto the streets, and then you can deal with the ones that are left.
Exactly. A lot of okay. Well, I started off with the King of Cups, and when I was looking at this, I thought, okay, you know what? In a lot of ways, yes, the King of Cups is about emotion and maybe stability and so on, but you can't take the mentally ill, not recognize that they are dealing with an illness. This is not a choice. This is not something that they decided that they were going, I'm going to be schizophrenic from here on in, right? So not addressing the issue and just tossing them out into the world, yes, that's what causes homelessness. That's what causes drug use. What else are you going to do? It's kind of, to me, it's very much like the, oh, hold on. I just wanted to, customer safety one, community. Oh, all righty. No, didn't see that, but yeah. You need to address the issue of that. And when you address and take them out of like prisons, the prisons are full of people whose only crime is the fact that they have a mental issue. And, they reacted. So anyway, before I get on the soapbox. So we start off with the King of Cups. And then it's the Four of Coins. It's the idea that if you help someone now, people still see it as a win or a loss. So if someone else gets something, that means I have to give something up. Rather than, what we're taking care of each other, right? So people have to start getting away from that train of thought that they're people with mental issues. Well, why should they be given cheap housing and whatnot? I have to work for what I have. And I understand that, but you're also not dealing with a mental illness. And, you don't know what they're going through. So I think when we get to that point, it's not all rosy. I think your idea of AI being able to help, I think absolutely that could certainly work. And okay, thank you. Yes, that the homelessness will end when we start taking care of each other. If we don't take care of each other, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and more people are going to be out on the streets because there's a lot of things that people can't afford. Prices of everything is going up. Who knows? There's an awful lot of people out there who are one paycheck away from being homeless. So anyway, alrighty. Yeah. I think that it'll take some time, but yeah, it certainly will get better. Okay. I think that I've missed some comments here. I'll do my best. Okay. Will the GOP congressman who left Congress, like Senator Rob Portman of Ohio, be investigated for accepting dark money? Who left Congress?
Okay, so my initial reaction to something like that is no, because there's so much corruption going on, unless it's an egregious amount of money, or it's money that could be linked to a conspiracy or something along those lines. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of GOP congressmen who left Congress, they left because there was compromise on them and they were being blackmailed. And it's like, you know what, I'll just sit this next one out and, lie low, and then they won't be blackmailing me anymore and I won't have to deal with that. I mean, Lindsey Graham is somebody who should have just not run for re-election and just let all this blow through. And then once once everything has subsided, then you come on your comeback tour and try and make yourself relevant. But no. Well, the GOP card left Congress, but that's David. That's David, the personal opinion. Let's see what the cards say on that one. Will they be held? Well, some will be. Some will be held accountable for that. It's just their time hasn't come up yet. Their time may never come up because, again, the Wheel of Fortune can keep spinning round and round. If they aren't busted by the feds or somebody like that, they will run into problems in other ways because somebody owns them. Somebody. If you take the money, somebody can blackmail you somewhere. Ooh, so 2 major arcana. Yeah, some are going to be busted. Some will turn as informants. Other informants may turn over other people. Again, I think if they were some part of some larger conspiracy, they're not out of the woods. If it's just the normal corruption, if it's just the normal corruption, then they'll probably be okay. But the bigger players aren't out of the woods yet, and they have a choice to make. Are they going to be the guy who's the snitch that rolls on other people so that they don't have to go to prison, or are they going to be the one that gets snitched upon? Passes judgment. When this will happen after all these court cases are done, this first wave of court cases, and the federal government starts chasing down the lieutenants and the other bosses in there. They've got the main bosses. Now they go for the second commands and then the sub bosses, if you want to put it in a mafia term. And it's going to start continuing to sweep people up into it. 4 out of 4 for major arcana. Some of these people will turn witness. Other people will expose them for who they are. There'll probably be some big government investigations into this. There already are, right? But everything's going to get exposed on who was doing what. Some people are going to go to jail. Some people are going to lie low. Some people are just going to disappear. Excuse me. There's just multiple ways that things can happen with these folks. Maybe 1 in 4 of the big ones will go to prison. Other ones will turn state witness. Other ones just will stay out of the public eye and do that. The lesson to be learned. God,
Hey,
I was telling Marina. I was telling Marina that I'm over the cold, but the more I talk, the more I cough.
Yeah.
And now I'm on a roll with this one, so I don't want to stop. The lesson to be learned, sometimes people just make really lousy choices. But I think it's also the King of Cups. You can think of this as being, the department, like Merrick Garland, the Department of Justice. You have to use your resources wisely. So who are you going to go after in all this one? Because you can't go after all 4. If you can get 1 out of 4, that's not a bad success rate, and it might be enough to deter people in the future from doing this. And for the people that are caught, they cannot believe they've been caught, because everybody breaks the law. Why should I be singled out for all this? But the ones that are caught, they will make an example of to act as a deterrent for others. That's what I see happening with this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so that's different than what David the intelligence person said.
And when you were talking about the King of Cups, I got the King of Cups as well. Woo-hoo. I only pulled 3 cards, and I think that that was all that I needed. Okay. The 2 of Wands. A lot of these people, they are starting to get a little nervous. They know that the light is going to shine on them. They just don't know when. So there's a lot of them now that are kind of taking a hands-off approach, and they don't really want to get right into it. But the paper trail is there. They made a deal with the devil. Mm-hmm. And he's come to collect. So there are people that are going to be held accountable, and I absolutely agree with you. It doesn't matter if they get all of them. If they get a few of them, it will um, it'll feel good, right?
Yeah.
It'll be, yeah, somebody got somebody. Yeah. Hey, Jazzy. Hey, MK. Um, Not only that, but yeah, you're right. It does send a message to everybody else because it's kind of like the luck of the draw, right? Who's the one that's going to be brought in and made an example?
Yeah.
Well, you do crime, you're in the lottery. You could win the lottery, and yet there's a lot of people that are going to be heartbroken because the gravy train is over. I mean, there were so many people that had their hand. Oh, the 3 of Swords is at the bottom of the deck.
At the bottom.
4 of Swords. So yeah,
Yeah,
there are some that are going down, and as well they should. Should.
And if we could just get Citizens United overturned, and any other laws that basically you have to report who's donating money to you. I think Sterling uses the example of a NASCAR outfit where all your sponsors are patches on you, so everybody knows who you represent. And you get Citizens United overturned and get the money out. It will attract less people that are just doing it to siphon money, and you'll get more of the AOCs and Katie Porters in the world running for office who are doing it because they actually want to make this a better world to live in, rather than the Lauren Boeberts and Marjorie Taylor Greens who are just skimming money left, right, and center.
Exactly. All righty. So, folks, is going to be our last question. Thank you so much for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us. I really enjoy these, and if I'm coming across as a little scatterbrained, I am a little scatterbrained. Number one. Number two, I started off the day with a migraine and I took some medication, and it's taking a little bit of time to wear off. So it hasn't left me quite as quickly as I liked it to. The headache is gone, but yeah, I'm feeling very airy. Okay. Yeah. So before we get to that, I just want to remind those of you that are in here that I am I'm having a class this Saturday, and it is between 4 and 6 p.m. And it is called Make Your Own Toracle Deck, and that could be a combination of tarot, oracle, whatever. I will give you some tools, some guidance, some kind of direction on where you can start to make a deck that you resonate with. And this is mostly for those people who have several tarot decks or several oracle decks and just don't have that strong connection with one. So maybe it's because you're being guided to make your own. So I can take you through the process of what I went through when I made mine, and it's the deck that I use exclusively for personal readings. So that is this Sunday between 4 and 6 p.m. Just go down in the in my community tab. You'll get the information on there. Just let me know if you want to sign up. It is $25 for the class, and it's free to members. So become a member and get in free. All right. That's me doing shameless self-promotion.
Okay. GOP reps be leaving Congress. God, don't you long for the day where the FBI just swarms down during a Senate meeting and House of Representative meeting, and just 12 of them get removed in cuffs in the House and another 4 to 6 out of the Senate? See Ted Cruz and Chuck Grassley let out in cuffs. Josh Hawley. Oh, yeah. Where's my guillotine when you need him? Okay. By summer of 2024, will some people be booted out?
Yeah.
I say, yeah, this is telling me about people leaving, going out troubled waters. If they're not booted out, they resign. And already underneath it, I've got the high priestess, because information's come out about their doing. And I think what's going to trigger this, just my personal thought on it, it's going to be the 14th Amendment, Section 3. When Trump gets found guilty of his crimes on January 6th, some states will try and take him off the ballot, and then he'll fight the case, and they'll probably have to put him back on the ballot. But for these other guys, they're not running for president, and if they can be shown that they've been involved in it, these are like that next wave of defendants, they might be able to be removed on that one. I don't know if it'll happen by that summer, but I do believe some will be removed. It's going to be a very hard time for them. Maybe it's hard to remove them, again, because we've not done this before, or at least not since the Civil War. And the Democrats basically have to grow a spine and insist that it happen, and then the DOJ grow a spine and not worry about the political consequences of it. That, I don't know, upholding the Constitution is more important than being worried about some minority part of the population's feelings. In the past, we have the moon card. This is the secrets. This is the backroom dealings that these people have done that led to their involvement in the insurrection. Their secrets have been revealed, and they're being revealed to the public. They're going to be asked to leave. What might happen is that the FBI might reach out to some of these folks quietly and allow them to resign.
Yes.
And the ones that don't, they go after them. Lesson to be learned is, some people just made some really bad choices. They didn't think things through. Other people are going to fight it. They're going to take this to court, and when they go to court, they're going to lose. Because justice is part of the show here. Again, they've got information that's going to implicate people, and those people who were part of that insurrection will get removed, and they'll deserve it. Okay. Coughing while muted.
That's okay. Most of us can read sign language. Yeah, we know. So yeah, totally get it. Yeah, I do the same thing. I think you're I agree. Some of them are going to be held accountable, and some of them are just going to, it's going to take a little while longer to get to them. But it's funny. I pulled 3 cards, and I started with the death card. So, that's kind of are they going to be held accountable? Well, I think the death card says no, but right next to it, I got the star card, which is yes. So that's what made me think that, yes, some of them are, some of them aren't. I think it's going to depend a lot on the level of their involvement, but it's a burden. It's absolutely a burden for them, and it's something that they're going to have to deal with. They're going to have to answer for it, whether it's by July 24th, whether it's at the ballot box. But you know what? I think people are getting a lot smarter, and there are things that they used to discuss before that they're not discussing now. And it's because they don't want to say out loud what they think, but what they're thinking is, I am so done with this shit. So, yeah, there's. I was listening to Michael Cohen today, who was on Midas Touch, and he was saying, yes, that Trump's base, the real mega whatever, or the mega people make up between 35 and 38% of the Republican Party, or the people who identify as Republican. That's not a lot. It's just that they're a little more vocal than
Yeah, they're very
anybody,
vocal.
right? So just because they yell louder than you can doesn't mean that their argument is better. It just means that they're yelling. And if they're yelling, you got to ask them why. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of people that are going to be making decisions in the ballot that they're not going to be, they're not going to be telling people that how they're going to vote. But I think when they get in the ballot box, they're not going to be voting. A lot of these folks.
I wouldn't count on a lot of women to vote for Trump.
Yeah, but he's so handsome.
I didn't say none of them. I wouldn't count on a lot of them.
Yeah. I know. There's,
You can only screw women's rights over so much without earning their ire once. Okay, the hell I'm checking that box for him for president or this guy for Congress. They took away my rights.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want. Oh, my friend, it has been a pleasure as always.
Oh, thank you.
And you can go spend some time with the missus and all that good stuff.
Yeah, she hasn't gone back from work yet. Go chase the cat around the house or something.
Well, that's all right. She'll be there eventually.
Yeah, she'll be home soon enough.
Yes, Rose Blue. Yeah, hold their noses and vote Democratic. Let do that so that something can be done, right? So that the government can move forward instead of playing this ridiculous game. Of kind of being held half hostage and whatnot. No, you don't get things done. Thank you, Sharon Type, for posting that. Yeah, tomorrow. No, he ain't no Adonis. And really, 250 pounds? Really?
Jesus.
No. Just no. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And, if you're on my channel, make sure you go over to David's channel, give him like, share, and subscribe. And listen to his videos when he puts them out, because they are more often than not bang on. They're funny. And you'll learn something.
If nothing else, that some tarot readers can be completely nutso. Woo!
You're doing just fine. Yeah. And Rose Blue says, I'm a fairy riding a unicorn that farts. Yes.
Farts rainbows.
Yes. Perfect. Alrighty, you guys. Take care. And I'll see you tomorrow on Sisters of the Mystical Tarot.
Woo! Thank you, everyone.